Alright, there are not many points that I want to talk about this episode. It was a good episode, not gonna lie. The atmosphere was very good and stuff. But let's go through the points I want to talk about. This will not take long, like, as I really don't have much to speak about this episode, as a episode is pretty much a heartwarming slice of life type of episode, and I don't like going much deep into slice of life, and I made this clear a lot of times. Like, I don't like going in deep elements of slice of life. I want to keep it as simple as possible and not go much deep into it. I've pretty much said this over and over again in lots of review when I see a slice of life in my personal review book, and that's one thing I keep in my personal review book. Like, whenever I see slice of life moments and stuff, I'll keep it very simple. I'll say whether I like that or not, and that's it. That's all there is to it. That's pretty much it. But I think so I can wrap it really quickly with saying the stuff I want to say. Like, this won't be a long video. So the first thing I wanted to say is about the feel. Now, if you guys have watched Monogatari series, you guys might know Araragi and Senjuhara and their interactions. This was pretty much what it would be. This is pretty much what it is. Araragi and Senjuhara's interaction. Very much, I'm reminded of it the moment I see it. First of all, really cool to see how, like, both of these people are bantering each other just like that. Like, like they're just argued, but in a way that's very straightforward and not awkward, I would say. That's basically how I see it. Like, that was how I saw Arag and Sejuhara's relationship. They used to do a lot of arguing, but in a way that it's not very awkward to see and stuff. Like, it's not very awkward, and it's very straightforward, very mature, very adult type of arguments, if I'd say. So that was a pretty cool moment in my book, and reminds me of a lot of Monogatari series. Really, really well done for that. Like, amazing job. Very rare to find this kind of interactions, I would say that. Um, so let's also talk about two things that this episode had. First of all, the girl is disappearing out of everyone's sight. That's the first thing of this episode. And that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say about, because this is pretty much a slice of life episode for anybody who wants to watch this episode. And again, I'll keep it very simple. I liked each and every element of slice of life. I already said I like the feel and stuff of this episode, and like, this was a pretty good episode for a slice of life episode. But there is the stuff that I wanted to speak about are just two more stuff, and that was the girl disappearing from everyone's side, and she's frustrated by that. We see it, but she's not showing it basically, and it is pretty much that's understandable through why she is. Her character is built around that. How she is like her underclassmen, how she's just basically with her underclassmen, and she knows that she doesn't want to give this underclassman much of burden, I would say, and that's the reason why she isn't showing her frustration and stuff. So that's pretty cool with her way. We also get a little background on her about how she was, why she quit her career and everything, and we see how she didn't want to do a certain role, and then how her mother just enforced her to do the certain role. So I think so. That's a pretty cool way to start off a backstory, like a little backstory on that. Let's. Oh, there's another thing I want to talk about before I talk this final thing. Uh, there was a girl, a senpai, that Araragi and Araragi, of course, I say Araragi to Sakura. Great, that Sakura had, and Sakura Sakura was actually supported by the school, which kind of lends me to believe in a way that the way I know he says that he wants to be something to that to the girl, to someone else that the girl was to him, but that girl looked. You can't say me that the girl didn't look like Mai in any way. Like, come on. Like, you can't tell me that girl didn't look. Now, I may be completely wrong, and it may be out of my mind, but that was looking like a lot like my, in my opinion, at least in my looks, in my eyes, at least. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. If she is my, she is my. If she's not, well, I would like to know the backstory and what happened to her. So yeah. Last thing I want to talk about is the scientist chick. Now she says something about the balance and stuff, about the half dead and half alive stuff, about how this person is disappearing, basically half dead, and how she's alive, basically half alive. About how she puts the mouse in the container and everything, the cat in the container, whatever. But it basically justifies this episode in that first scene. It basically justifies this episode because when Aragi calls his friend and he basically talks about Mai, and he's like, "Oh, I remember Mai." So you're kind of given the side of the half alive, where this cool Mai is still in a way remembering Mai, but we also given the half dead side, where pretty much everyone that remember her. And also we see how the scientist chick basically says that, oh, there's something to do with the school. So that in my opinion is a pretty cool way. Now I don't know if this was intentional, the half alive and half dead thing, or it's just me that saw this thing and I was like, oh, this episode pretty much justifies the start scene. The start of the episode pretty much justifies what this whole episode is all about. So I don't know if it was only me who noticed that or somebody else too, but uh, let me know if you guys thought the same or anything like that. Anyways, let me know what you think about this episode. All over, I think so. This was an amazing slice of life episode. I would say all over, like with all the elements, and we also see that girl, this new chick, who is kind of the supported cross role, in my opinion, because she's in the intro and stuff. So we also see how this other girl is out there and stuff, but we didn't get more on her stuff and everything. Anyways, let me know what you think about this episode. I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace.